Okay, Ron, so we have the first big update to our favorite game, Age of Empires 4. This is the biggest update yet, and I'm fairly excited for this. I'm the first person I think on YouTube who's doing updated tier list. I watch a lot of like reactions to it and kind of like the change logs. Obviously, like it's a big update, so this is my tier list. I have my notes here. I literally wrote for like 2 fucking hours my notes on my laptop. Still, when you do things like this, obviously I'm gonna forget a lot of it, even though I prepare myself. But these are my in-depth thoughts. I'm gonna make a skippable point to the tier list itself. First, I gotta talk about the flavor of the patch and kind of like the biggest general changes, and then I'm gonna get into specific civs and what I think the new tier list is gonna be. I barely slept last night. I was thinking about this patch. Obviously, in the last month I have like 180 hours in this game. I love this game. It's a huge patch, guys, and let's pretty much talk about it. I'm gonna make a point that you can skip to the tier list if you don't want to listen to my like flavor of the patch and what I think about general changes, what are the good changes, this and that. But I think you should watch this to kind of get the feeling for the patch. So they fixed a lot of bugs and things that had to be fixed pretty much. They fixed a lot of those, guys, and they gave us some options, more options to kind of like controller units. Not as much as I would like, but kind of like you can like one-click garrison buildings into outposts, villages into outposts now. So that's a very big change. I like that. For example, I like things that give us more power, more control over the outcome, that we can like kind of like put our creativity into it. And I kind of don't like the changes to like removing the fishing icons in shoreline fish. It's kind of weird, but they can increase the number of the fish, so you can already tell that my feelings about the patch are kind of mixed. So I don't want to like be too negative, but I was kind of surprised how many changes they did. You could tell, oh no, but they just like list a lot of changes, they didn't do that much changes. It's true, but still, my thing about RTS games, and this is like historically been accurate, you want to see the developers do small number of changes. I wouldn't mind if they would like sit on it and kind of like think about it more and then do a patch. I think it was pretty okay patch, but there were a lot of things that I didn't like, and I'll talk about it. They did fix a lot of bugs, the relic bug, things like that. I can't really talk about it. The video is going to be like 2 hours long if I talk about all this, so I got to like keep it simple. Here we have the updates, pretty much all listed very, very clearly, and I'm gonna link it in the description below if you want to read it. But pretty much like I can't talk about everything, it's literally impossible. So I think they did good job of fixing like the bugs, known bugs, and I don't like they reduced the number, the icons kind of a little bit, especially the shoreline fish. The icon reduction itself is okay. The one thing that I mention always in this game, and I love the game, I rated it 11 out of 10, I'm playing it like a madman, I love it, but I think they need to make units more distinguishable. Like, they look too alike. When you have a bunch of spearmen, archers, crossbows, they all look alike. They really look alike. I don't know how they just need to make them less colorish, or like kind of make them like villagers smaller or something, and things like that. So that's one thing, and let's get into balance fixes. So as I said, there were some good things. The bad things, in my opinion, the elite army tactics late game is too big of a buff. I think from 10%, and that's the university upgrade to infantry, it's been buffed from 10% damage, 10% health to 20%. So that's a huge buff, guys. So 20% to damage, 20% to health. So we already had like a spearman and then like cannons, Sprinkles meta. So now it's gonna be man at arms, spearman, and then like cannons late game. I think spearman, they buffed the damage against the cav, and that's good against knights and shit. But now they brace, so we don't know how much is gonna change the meta. I think it's a huge buff, guys. So it's been that's been in the bug department here, but actually it's a huge buff. So now Cav is already like much weaker, and on top of that they do a horseman nerf. So I don't know why was this necessary. Horsemen are good at stopping archer pushes in feudal age, so that's gonna just like make longbowmen and like English and general archer pushes much stronger. I wasn't the person who was making, I think I was making too few horsemen in general before, but now they're really weak. So they gave them 1 rage armor and they reduce the health, so that's not really great. Obviously Magonel's buffed, and of course they didn't nerf the Sprinkles. I knew it, guys. I knew it. I said it to everybody. I told the chat 100% they're not gonna nerf the Spring, and I was right. And they said they're gonna nerf it, but I knew this patch they're gonna nerf it. It's pretty cancer but you know that I'm a fan of like sitting on it. They have to nerf the base damage, and kind of would nerf the turn rate of them, but it doesn't matter. So Magonel's buffed. Naval in general costs more to make shoreline fishing boats, whatever. Shoreline fishing boats, like fishing boats, but you still have to go water, guys. Don't get your hopes up. You still have to go water, because now on the like hybrid maps, the river maps, like there's so much more fish that you have to go for that food eco. Otherwise, you're gonna be behind your opponent, man. And that's pretty much it, man. Let's get into the balance and my tier list. So let's start right into it. First is the Abbasid, guys. I've been playing the Abbasid for the last 3 days, really hardcore, and I like the faction a lot. I haven't gotten to play it like extensively till now, and as the patch hit, I think it's been buffed significantly. So camel barding is now applied to camel units properly, and it's really good against cav. So that's gonna land it straight into A tier, guys. This is one of the factions that really got buffed. So the Abbasid really got buffed. The thing is, they have a lot of strong upgrades that like are general purpose. The fresh food stuff is so strong. You always go economic in feudal age, and you can get so many wheels out if you go 2 or 3 TC. Obviously not 3 TC, but you can go fast 2 TC, and you can hit it around 5 minutes 20 seconds, guys. That's really fast, and you can just like spam wheels and kind of get ahead. Obviously, the Springle meta is still there; it's still strong. So third age, you can just make Magonels who are now stronger and Springles. Okay, so that's pretty much why it's so strong. The downside of the Abbasid is still that Castle Age and Feudal Age takes a long time. So the weak matchup of the Abbasid, I think, is the English. So kind of like if you go, like let's say you go Dock, that's going to delay your Feudal Age. Your Feudal Age takes so long that the English is already going to be at your base before, not at your base, but like close to your base as you make your first archer angel stable. Literally, like, and you can't even make horsemen anymore. So like, one weak matchup against the English. Other than that, I think against Rus and HRE, third age, Castle Age, they kind of can't contest the relics much. We kind of like put outposts versus them, but that's pretty much it. I think Abbasid got a big buff in this patch, so very strong A tier. So then we go to our big boys, man, the Delhi, man, the strength, man. They introduced the faster times in feudal age, man, and things like that. This is the dream, man. It's gonna let them straight into trash tier, boys. They've been clapped, man. I don't know why they destroyed Delhi so much. That is brutal, guys. So I'm gonna tell you about my tier list. This is a caveat to this. So pretty much all these civs here, there's a huge gap now. Like before, you know, we didn't know, you know, how the meta will be developed. Are the new like strength of certain civs are going to be discovered, things like that. But Delhi has been ruined, guys, with this patch. I don't know why they did them so dirty. It's kind of funny, man. I played a little bit of Delhi, not so much, so I'm not like personally impacted, but like, dude, Sanctity has been moved, and that's the upgrade that allows the scholars to capture sacred sites in the Dark Ages. It's been moved to Feudal Age, man. Oh my god, man, that's brutal. I'm gonna tell you why. When I played, and I'm top 300, now I'm not anymore. I think I really dropped with Abbasid in the last 2 days, because I was facing a lot of English, a lot of French, and this I was getting trashed. But okay, like I saw a lot of Delhi, and I actually started to lose to Delhi before the patch a little bit. Not like, you know, it's still good to face them from your perspective if you're gonna win or not. But like they, I think Lucifron and like Vortex, whoever, they discovered some good tactics, man. So pretty much the threat. I didn't get like Dark Age. Scholars, man, against me, but you start it in Dark Age and then early feudal you capture it, man. So now it's going to be delayed so much. So first we have to hit fast feudal and then get a sanctity upgrade. So until then you can get like your outpost, which I was doing already, to get outpost on the sacred sites and kind of like just like push them back. Another thing, they decrease the research time in Castle Age and Feudal Age. No, Castle Age is the same. Feudal Age and Dark Age, I think. But it's not enough, guys. Like, you're gonna get the upgrades anyway. Obviously, you're gonna hit harder, you're gonna have better early fights. But Imperial Age has been so destroyed for them. I think from 15 times more time it takes, tongue breaker, than other factions, right? So they're now a Castle Age civ, and they were already, but you can play Imperial, but now there is no incentive to go Imperial. You're not gonna get like all the upgrades fast, and the opponents are gonna get their like crucial upgrades. Man at Arms Elite, Knights Elite, They're gonna get their cannons, the chemistry. They don't have to get all the upgrades, right? Like it's good to have all the upgrades, especially economic upgrades. You're not gonna get like horticulture, whatever it's called, the third tier, and this like it's too expensive. They're gonna get all that, but like it takes so much time that they're definitely bottom of the trash tier. So what balance patches need to do is like kind of like bring the civs together in the balance. I think this put these civs in S, A, and B together and just like made a gap even bigger to the civilizations that are in this like bottom tier, man. So there could be another C tier here, but I don't think there is right now. I think it's just like these civs here and those in the trash tier are just like done, obviously, like, you know. So now we go to the Rus. The Rus is one of the factions that hasn't been changed much, and I think they sit bottom A tier, very comfortable, very easy. A tier, they haven't been changed much. So alongside the Mongols, I think they've been changed the least. The naval late game get hit a bit, so incendiary arrows don't affect Lodger ships anymore. So they can't really like fucking destroy everything, all the Imperial ships or the castles. And also are not affected the direction armor. So for now, gunpowder Imperial ships, if they hit Lodger ships straight up, like, you know, straight shooting them from the side, right in the Lodger ships facing them, they won't do no damage. So now that has been fixed. So that's been a bug. We didn't know if it was a bug or a feature. So that's been fixed. So the naval got hit later game a bit, but usually they can take still over the water. Obviously, their biggest strike, when I used to play them at the beginning, when the game dropped, around like, I think like, I played the Rus till like, I don't know, beginning of November. And I played every style. The one thing I didn't play is the horse archers because somehow I thought they were weak. I don't know why, man. And they're the strongest unit. They're the strongest unit, guys. They're so strong. And obviously, the best strategy for Rus is to go fast castle. And just in general, they haven't changed that much. So the horse archers even got buffed with the Hada upgrade change from the stable to archery range. So you don't have to make stables at all. So you can go fast castle, just go archery ranges, just go blacksmith, upgrade them fully, and just go like destroy the opponent. Then go like fast imperial and just spam sprinkles. And that's gonna be their meta. So Rus haven't been changed much. I think they're still very, very strong. And the late game is still very, very strong, guys, because Sprinkles are still mega dominant. And the thing about Sprinkles that I didn't want to talk about in the like the prelude to the tier list, I didn't want it to be too long, is the Sprinkles determine where the fight takes place. That's why they're so strong. They have too much DPS, which is obvious. I think they need to nerf also their speed and like turning rate. But like, you cannot determine where the fight takes place. You either gotta go all in and fight, like, even if you're like, I don't claim to have the best micro or anything, but even if you're like the best player, I don't know, like better than Viper, like the best player ever, whoever touched like the keyboard and mouse, like mega computer, you cannot force the fight without being a decisive fight. You cannot like just kind of like go kite back and it's like, because a Sprinter had the superior range to everything you have. So pretty much like you're just gonna bleed units. You got to like pull back your units, let him like, you know, take his position if he's like attacking your base, or like kind of like, and then have like a decisive fight. And if you can kind of lose that fight, you're done, right? That's why Sprinkles are so strong, because they have a huge range and they can pick off villagers. They have too much DPS and everything. So Rus is still 8 tier, still very strong. So now we get to the English, man. So longbows finally nerfed, guys. Finally nerfed, man. So I think English sits comfortably in the 8 tier, guys. And very important, 8 tier is from the left to right, guys. So I would say definitely pecking order is English, Abbasid, Rus. The English, the Chad longbows, man, they've been so OP for such a long time. Perfect change. So this is the definition of perfect change. I said, I don't like when they do a lot of changes. I would like for them to sit on it. This is the example of a perfect change. So they didn't nerf the unit itself. They just nerfed the campfire. So they don't heal in combat. That's a perfect change. Like literally perfect. Now you can actually counter them with specific civs. My problem with the English is against factions who are not French, Mongols, or maybe the Rus, but I would say like French and Mongols. Sorry, excuse me, I was pointing to the Chinese. But for example, Abbasid, Delhi, Chinese, you're just going to get trashed by longbows. Because the only unit that kind of countered longbows was the horseman. So in early now, like when he hits you with like the early longbows, like 6-7 longbows, or even like bleeding them in one by one, you can kind of make like 2-3 horsemen and just destroy that first army, or at least pick off several of them. So that's gonna set the English way back, so they can't just like pick off your village or something. So now the horsemen have got a 1 range armor, but they lost around 20% HP. Depends on what age, but around like 15-20% HP, which is actually a nerf. So horsemen have been nerfed. I don't know why. I don't know who like made that change. So now, pretty much, if you're not the French or the Mongols, so maybe there's, but I would say like the French and the Mongols, you're just gonna get fucking destroyed by longbows. Even worse, they can't really heal. But like the only thing that you have to counter them is the archers. Like so, you have the archers, you have the longbows. The longbows are stronger than archers, man. They're a bit more expensive, but not that much. Like maybe like 15-10%. They have more range. So they determine where the fight takes place. You can chase them if you have the better army, but it happens. Like it happens. He kind of attacks you from the fog of war. He picks off like 3 wheels, or maybe he just kills like three, 4 archers, man. 3, 4, 5 archers, and you cannot come back, guys. You cannot come back because the only thing you have to fight the longbows are your archers. The archers are weak at the longbows, so you have to overpower the longbows. If he pushes you with rams and longbows, and you don't have enough archers, you're just dead. You're just straight dead. Like you have no chance to like come back or anything like that, man. So I think English are still very strong. They sit comfortably on top of A tier for now, guys, and I think they have a strong late game. And kind of like the thing with English, they always do the same thing. And even if you scout them early, you gain nothing. And if you scout them like late feudal, they have a lot of options. So if they're pressing you, which they will, they can go like second TC and then make like a third landmark that's a TC, and then, for example, with Abbasid, it takes a long time to get Castle Age if he's pressing you, right? So even your Springle push and your like Springle Magonel push is not even be that strong because he can like kind of delay the battle and they have a decisive weapon which he can win and he can lose, like but still like they can do a lot of things. So English very very strong. So we have to see how the meta develops for these factions. So I would say these factions and another faction have been the biggest winners of this patch. So we get to the French, the most controversial pick that I'm about to make. I can feel the salt, guys. I think the French right now are on top of the A tier, guys. I'm not gonna put them S tier. This is the decision I've been like sweating all night. I was thinking about this video. I was thinking about where do the French sit, and you can make a point for the S tier. You can make a point. I think that all these factions are very close. The reason I'm gonna put them here is not because Hog got nerfed. It's not because I don't know what like these two factions I think got like a bit stronger. I don't think so at all. I think the Spearman buff is really, really strong. So they increase their damage from 3 times, I guess, cap to 3.5. So now at Imperial Age, they do 11, I think, base damage. And plus, I don't know, 25, I think, or something crazy, man. 26. I don't know, bonus damage. I think plus 26 or something. We can actually check, man. Let me check, man. Where is it? Like, they do incredible damage. 40-something damage against, like, look at this 28 damage, man. Oh my god, that's crazy, man. That's literally insane to me. Like, this do like way too much damage against Kama, and this brace automatically. So before you would like run away from the French and try to turn, and I would try to turn really fast when they chase me and brace. But sometimes it wouldn't work. They wouldn't turn. They would turn and not brace. Like, because you got to like, if you're facing them, you brace, it worked. But now they automatically brace. So I think that's a huge buff to Spearman. So I think like you're gonna see mass spear man at arms. So also the Hull got hit, and I'm not like hyping up the French didn't get nerfed much. I'll be honest, but I think the meta itself with the Spearman is really gonna counter the Royal Knights. I think so too. The Abbasid are strong against them naturally, and the English now have the longbows and who've been nerfed, but you have like stronger pikes. So still, I think French is the only that can like fluctuate between S and A. So Hulks got nerf from 6 to 2 armor. Somebody would say that's not a big change, and I don't think they're gonna dominate water anymore. So I had a match against them on the stupid, what is it called, Nagari map, whatever, the one with the middle pond, and one of my forests was closed. Obviously, Relic makes great maps, like like balanced maps. So one of them was closed. I pushed him off the bottom. I go Dark Age Ram with Abbasid. I crushed his dock, and he was so cocky. He was making like outposts, a million fish ships. He didn't like anticipate it at all. And then I push his base. I almost kill him. He makes a dock on our side because I can't, because there's a mountain here. There's his base here. I cannot go to his dock. He just makes one Hulk. I have like 3 or 4. Obviously, Dow suck, but look at this. I calculate the Dow does 24 damage per volley. It does 8 damage and 3 like bursts, right? Like per volley. So it used to do 8 damage. Now it will do 24 damage against the Hulk, because each arrow does more damage. Because the armor has been reduced from 6 to 2. So the arrow ships are going to be much stronger against French. And I wouldn't be surprised if Lodja ships can like actually challenge them. And like obviously like the Castle ships, the other Castle ships are going to be much stronger against the Hulks. So it can fluctuate. We will see how it develops. Also, the roll cannon got buffed, which is a huge buff, actually, guys. French, I think, not really struggle late game because you usually have the advantage, but they didn't have the strongest of the late games. I don't think they have the strongest of the late games. I don't know, like, now I'm thinking about it, man, as I speak. So the roll can get plus 20% damage buff. It was already in the game, but it wasn't really, like, affecting it. So now it affects it. So now you want to spam actually roll cannons, man. I was spamming roll cannons when I used to play the French a lot. And they're not good in big numbers. You want like small numbers roll cannons and then roll cannons in general. So now we go, and also like the French enlistment, which I'm going to show you really fast, got reduced, guys. So this is also a big nerf, man. So enlistment incentives now reduces the influence by 5%. So now this upgrade is 500 resources in total, and it's not for getting, man. This is not for getting anymore. So the opportunity cost you get in the Castle Age, is it in Castle Age? What the hell? No, in general, I don't think this is worth getting anymore, because you would rather have like more units right now and just use the castle, like the castle, reduce cost of archery ranges and stables, then use this. So we get to China, man. The faction has been like the most buff alongside these two, man. I think it sits comfortably in B tier, and bear in mind there's like probably like a C tier in between here. So China has been really buffed. So one of the a lot of bugs fixed, which I'm not going to get into. The Imperial official can now supervise universities and blacksmith, which is a huge change, guys. It's a huge buff, massive buff. Also, the move Paratex University, that's been a great change. I like that a lot. So now they have to make a university. Before they didn't have to make a university. You can just make Siege Workshop, get pyrotechnics, and just dominate, man, early Imperial Age. From early Imperial Age to the late game, and I think they have the strongest late game now for sure. And the biggest change, I think, in this patch has been to Jukunu. I think I'm pronouncing this correctly. This is the thing I said I don't like. China definitely in the buff, like definitely, but I don't like huge changes like that, from 60 food to 20 food. So now they bring the cost, I think, from 120 resources to 90 resources, if I'm correct, man. They reduce the health, they reduce the tank time, which is also a buff. I don't like the big changes like that. So they can never revert the big changes. Like the developers never revert big changes like that. So now if Jukunu like just appear to be broken and just like crush everything, they cannot go back. Obviously, I don't think they're gonna be broken. I think that's a good change, because we have a lot of man-at-arm spam and possibly maybe a lot less knight spam, but still they're gonna be a lot of knights. So they're gonna be that strong because the armor is still gonna like destroy them. But I don't like to see big changes in that, but I like the changes to China. I think it's been massively bugged, and I wouldn't bugged. I think it's been massively bugged, and I wouldn't be surprised it going into like A tier. I think they're very strong late game. We'll see how it develops. I think this is comfortably in the B tier, man. So now we get to the Mongols, the faction that has been the least change alongside Rus, I think, and straight into S tier. The only changes they have is the bounty upgrade that I wasn't getting, I think, initially when I was playing the Mongols, and I wasn't getting much, man, which now, looking back, it was a mistake. And from looking at the replays and casts, I don't think many people were getting it anyway. The one that gives you plus 100 gold and food, when you set buildings on fire. So that was a good upgrade. So now it's been decreased to 50-50, and you can get it early in Feudal Age, and I don't think it's going to be worth getting anymore, because you have to, the opportunity cost is not worth it, because you have to get it right, and then like, it depends. If you play against the Mongols and you play correctly, if you're playing good player, he's going to play a closed game, and you won't be able to raid much anyway. So I think it's not going to be worth getting anymore. Supreme Mobility also fixed to 50%. The buildings were way too fast, man. So it's been applied twice. So when you get that upgrade, the OVU, that's upgrade for faster buildings, they were just lightning fast like a car. Just like, you cannot even chase them down with horsemen. It's like you cannot kill them. Like, it's impossible. They were very too fast. So now it's like much more balanced in that way. But I don't think Mongols were hit enough. They counter all these factions very well. I think we deal with all the factions very well. Each in turn, you can spam the archers against the English, you don't have a problem with them. Against the French, you have much better spearmen. Abbasid is not issue. Rus, kinda like, maybe late game they can do something to it, but like in general, Mongols have good spread of like fights, and OVU is really strong. OVU itself, it's really strong because you can like get a lot of units for free early game. So that's pretty much about the Mongols. And we get to HRE, man, and it's going straight into trash tier, boys. Ever since I started the game, in my opinion, the Delhi and the HRE have been the weakest factions, man. Like China didn't feel that weak. Obviously, Delhi kind of like before they destroyed it and dunked on it, kind of like was getting some traction. Like the last few days, people were actually beating me the Delhi, not as much, but like I lost a few games to Delhi, which wasn't the case for 3 weeks. I wasn't losing to Delhi at all. I guess actually I don't know flex or anything. I didn't lose a single game for like a month, and then I lost one. It was Mongol vs HRE on some map, and I lost it. I don't know. I played terrible, and in many games against HRE, I was behind, and that they just can't do it. There's on paper they're very strong. When you will read the HRE, they don't have a lot of buffs, but the prelates are really strong with Inspire. And the Archer Chapel, I can't pronounce these German words. Don't take it the wrong way. I butcher them, but whatever. So it has an influence radius which is really strong. So with that, they should be much stronger, but they just like they can't put it together. They don't have a strong angle except the Castle Age. So now you know the Arachnis Cathedral, the third landmark that you go into Castle Age with, is their only strong point. So you can get 3 relics, gain 900 gold per minute, man. So that is like crazy. So you just have to play around it. If you get fast Castle Age kind of on par with them, you can make like outposts or some like walls, or like just deny them 2 to 3 relics, and then they're pretty much done. They're like dead in the water. But if they get 3 relics for the Arachnis Cathedral, they're just gonna explode with power. So HRE is just a boomy faction. If they get the relics, they're strong. If they don't, they're pretty weak. That's been pretty much it. These are my thoughts on the game. We'll see how the meta develops. Thank you so much for watching me. I hope I didn't rant too much, man. I'm really passionate about the game. These two factions got really hit hard. Even some bugs nerfed the HRE, man, which is like some kind of bug fixes that like nerf man-at-arms that they have. So I think the game state is pretty good. I'm a bit worried that they don't continue to do big balance patches. That's pretty much it. Love you, boys and girls.